Hey everyone! Welcome and welcome back to another episode of Around the World with Ashley. Today's episode is part 3 of my adventures in Italy. Parts 1 and 2 were all about my time in Rome, and I was there for a pretty long time, like 5 days, so it made sense to split that up. My entire time in Florence will be covered in this video. This was my first time ever in Florence, and I had such a great time. Like, I will be back. I recommend that anyone who is considering going to Italy should put it on their list. From the food to the experiences, it was just a really great time. And I hope that I can go back and actually visit when it's warm. It seems like it'll be a really great place to be able to walk along the river and it's not like 40, 50 degrees. All right, that's enough from me for now. Let's dive right into this episode. It's Wednesday, and honestly, guys, this is probably the most jam-packed day that we had in Florence. It probably wasn't until I was actually creating this video that I realized just how much stuff we were doing every single day. I don't know how you guys are, maybe let me know in the comments, but some people when they go on vacation, they're the person who just kind of wants to sit, relax, let the agenda plan itself, or they're like, what agenda? We're just gonna kind of go with the flow. And then there are other people who like to have things planned. They like to have like a program. They want to know what they're going to do, what time they're going to wake up. They want to maximize what they're doing in a vacation. You might be able to guess, I am kind of on the latter side. I like to be the person who kind of like plans, maximizes what we do, but also not like to the extent where it's not enjoyable. So I'm not trying to wake up at 6 a.m. every single day to go do something. But there may be a day where we do get up at 6 a.m. because we want to go to an excursion that's a little further away. For example, like when I was in Rome, we got up at the crack of dawn to go on that Tuscany day trip. Did not do that twice, would not do that multiple days in a row, but it was so worth it actually having that on the agenda and kind of pushing ourselves to do that. So Wednesday was jam-packed. We started off by going to the train station. So you guys saw me pack up everything in my last video, which was quite a journey. I had already been in Paris for a week before, so I had stuff that I had bought in Paris, clothes that I had used in Paris, and then I came to Italy for a week, and then I'm seeing stuff in Italy that I want to buy, and I'm shopping there. And not to mention, I also came over with a much larger checked bag. When I got off of my flight from Atlanta to Paris, I realized that my bag was broken. One of the wheels was just completely gone from the bag. I'm having to like drag it through the airport on 3 wheels. I have my other bag with me. I'm trying to figure out where to meet people and all this stuff, and didn't realize that in order to file a claim for a broken bag, you have to do it in the airport. So I completely lost out on getting my money back from Delta for that broken bag, which Delta, if you guys see this video, please let me know because I spent a lot of money trying to replace that bag when I was in Paris, and I ended up with one that was slightly smaller. So actually, we're gonna blame that. We're not gonna blame me shopping. I was fully prepared to bring things back in my bigger bag, and then the airline broke it. So yeah, that's kind of what happened. So we loaded up the buses, which was an insane game of Tetris, and then we headed over to the train station. The train station had so much going on, and with so many people in our group that were trying to travel together, low-key it was a little chaotic, just trying to like make sure everybody was there. What station are we going to? Making sure we don't lose people. We're also carrying all of these bags, and people who are doing their own travel, whether it is like regularly or going on vacation, are also there. So it was like a teensy bit overwhelming. This was actually my first time going on one of those high-speed trains in Europe. And so I thought that was going to be really exciting to be able to zip around. I really wish the US had one of those. I would love to be able to go from Atlanta to other cities across the country just in a fraction of the time. Like, I don't mind a road trip, but if we had high-speed trains, would be so much better. Like, even if the Amtrak routes were just a little bit better, I would totally do those instead of flying places all the time. But I digress. I want to both say sorry and thank you to the very nice Italian man who lifted up my 50-pound bag and put it in the overhead compartment. So what I did not realize is that on these trains, most of the bags, almost all of the bags have to go overhead. And you guys, my bag was packed to the brim. It was heavy. It was probably the heaviest bag out of the people that I was traveling with. And it had to be lifted overhead. It wouldn't slide in between the seats. It wasn't gonna work. And this man came over. I don't know if he knew what he was getting himself into, but he just threw my bag on up there. And I was like, you know what? Shout out to you. My classmates, on the other hand, when we were getting off of the train, I was looking at the guys and I was like, y'all got it. I couldn't even lift it over my head. Like, Orange Theory is teaching me some things. I'm gaining some upper body strength, but I don't have that kind. So they had a time. I won't describe what kind of time for their sake, but they had a time trying to get my bag down. And I had like all these plans to like look out the window and explore. And would you believe that I fell asleep the entire time? Like, gone. I woke up and I thought I was taking like a slight nap. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I knew I was about to go to sleep. I made myself a little bit comfortable. Clearly I made myself too comfortable because I completely KO'd. I was gone. I think I woke up like 10 minutes before we actually pulled up into the train station at Florence. And I was just like, yeah, there goes all of those beautiful sights that I was planning on seeing and being able to talk about. My friend's husband became my biggest op on the trip because he had the best angle of me sleeping on that train. And he got it, you guys. He literally caught me knocked out and everybody was talking about it and they were laughing. And I was like, you know what? Like, I see you. We're still cool. It's all good. There's no beef. It's all love. But I was still like, wow, my biggest op. I can't believe it was you. I never saw you. After the train, we got all settled at our hotel, which was so nice. Like, my bathroom was a little bit smaller than the last one. I was kind of cramped in that shower, but my view was absolutely amazing. So travel days can be really exhausting, right? Like, it was only about a 2-hour train ride from Rome to Florence. So it's not like it was that long and we didn't have to get up super early, but sometimes it can just be really tiring. Like, just the getting together, the packing, the going, the commute, it can just be a lot. And so by the time we did that and checked into the hotel, everybody was just tired. Like, really didn't want to do a whole lot. We had a cultural tour that we were signed up to do. And so we did that. We explored a little bit. And then there was this optional gallery, the Uffizi Gallery, that my friends and I had signed up to go to because it was included. We were like, you know what? We're here. We want to take advantage of everything. And it also talked about how there were so many influential and really cool pieces of artwork in the Uffizi Gallery, including The Birth of Venus, which is a painting that Beyonce took inspiration from for one of her outfits from the Renaissance tour. So it was really cool to kind of like get that beehive like history tour from her and how art just kind of influences everything. So while we were at the gallery, my friends and I were trying to figure out what we wanted to do for dinner. There were about 6 of us who wanted to go, and you probably need a reservation for that. It's a pretty large group to show up with to a restaurant. Based on some TikTok reviews, my friend actually curated this really cool list of restaurants that we could go to in Florence. And so I just kind of took the time going through them, trying to figure out which ones took reservations online, looking at menus. We ended up being able to get a reservation for 6 people. This was like 2 hours before they opened at this restaurant called Osteria Pastella. And you guys, that restaurant was so good. You might have seen them on TikTok. You might have seen some other YouTube videos about them. I did like a whole deep dive video just kind of showing like everything that we got when we were at that restaurant. The overall experience was amazing. It feels like a quaint restaurant. Like there was a whole line outside because it's not like they have all of the space to serve people, but the experience is truly one of a kind. Like the fact that we were able to get a reservation for 6 people a couple of hours before and go to the restaurant and enjoy it was like, it really like, it felt like everything aligned for us to go, from the flambe truffle pasta to the drinks to just everything. I mean, like, I can't even, I'm trying to think and I'm just like, oh my God, I want to go back. You got to take me back. It was so great. We had the best dinner together. I called it our family dinner. My friends and I really raved about that place. And yeah, you gotta go. You really gotta go.
The Black Whale.
Woo! So Black Whale.
Cheers. So now that we finally had the best food that we've had since we've been in Italy, it's Thursday and it's time for another day of adventures. Really, this entire day was all about a company visit. So during the program, I mentioned that this was for my MBA. Although, you know, portions of it felt like a vacation, there were parts of it that were, it was still like a business trip for us. So we did some company visits with businesses across all different industries: textiles, ceramics, fashion, hospitality, and a few others. So this day we actually did a couple of company visits. We started off by doing a hospitality one. So the same hotel brand that we were staying at in Rome, we actually had the opportunity to go to one of their hotels in Florence and just have a conversation with one of their executives about kind of what their company is doing, what's the future of it, ask some questions about that. And then later we actually split up into 2 different groups. And so it was by last name. One group went to a ceramics place and then one group went to a fashion place. The ceramics one was actually like much different than I was thinking. Like I was thinking it was probably going to be like ceramics, like maybe like tiles, things like that. It was actually a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. Like, it was very, very sciencey. For example, they were working on this air filter that seemed like it was a really, really cool product, just in kind of how they talked about it potentially being able to regenerate, things like that. And then they were also working on some stuff that was in like nanomedicine. After all the company visits, my friends and I got a chance to relax. And we had actually already signed up to do a pasta and tiramisu making class that night that we were pretty hype about. Like, this was really the only excursion that a lot of my friends and I were doing that was like a group tour together. We had such a great time doing this class. There were actually so many of us that signed up for the slot that like half of us were at one restaurant and half of us were at another restaurant. Our restaurant, we were kind of like in a basement. It was pretty cool though. So we made like a tagliatelle pasta, maybe like a fettuccine, kind of depends on like the width. But we made that kind of pasta, and then we also made a ravioli with like a spinach ricotta filling. We made tiramisu, which is one of my personal favorites. And then we sat, we ate, we drank, and then we went back to the hotel, and it was such a nice time. Like, I think we discovered some of the friends who were a little bit more skilled in the kitchen, like some hidden talents. And then some of the people who we were like, you know what? You buy the groceries and I'll make the food for you. I personally love baking. I love being in the kitchen. And so being able to work with dough was really fun. I had done a pasta making class before, but I had never done one where we were actually able to use the pasta roller. And so I was still in there learning something new, even though it was like a new variation of something that I'd done before. Okay, so it is officially our last real day in Italy. It's Friday. Saturday, I'm traveling. I didn't take anything. That was a super long day. But Friday is our last real day in Italy, our last full day in Italy, and we're gonna make the most of it. So we started off the day by doing another walking tour. And you might be like, how many tours is it possible to do? Like, I feel like you have done so many walking tours. But there's a lot to see. Like, even if you just kind of walked around the city and explored, there's a lot of like art galleries, there's a lot of museums, there's a lot of gardens, there's things that you can go and see and explore. And so we did these guided tours where, like, listening to our tour guides, we're actually really learning about the city. Wednesday was just a really, really long day. Well, Friday was a really, really long night. We started off by going to our farewell dinner, which was really nice. We all ate, we had a really good time, we laughed, we enjoyed time with our friends, our classmates. And then I was kind of crazy and decided I just wasn't gonna go to sleep on Friday night. So my flight left Saturday morning around like 6 a.m. to go from Florence to Amsterdam and then from Amsterdam to Atlanta. If my flight leaves at 6, our Uber was scheduled to come get us at 3:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm gonna be really upset if I go to sleep and I get into a good groove and then I have to wake up so that I can be downstairs at 3:30 in the morning. So I'm not going to sleep, which is a very bold decision for me because I'm normally in the bed between 10 and 11 every single night. Like I am very much, I wake up early in the morning. I do not stay up very late. I am not a night owl. But this night I shocked myself and probably my friends, to be completely honest. So after the welcome dinner, we hung out at the hotel. We went to the hotel bar. We got ready to go out a little bit. And then we went back to this place called the Jazz Club. So I think I forgot to mention the Jazz Club before, and I honestly just didn't have like any footage from being in there. But the Jazz Club was essentially like a speakeasy. And what we were a little bit cautious and hesitant about in Rome, where it was like filling out this information, we just realized it was kind of standard practice. And so we paid like 10 euros to join the Jazz Club. And essentially we got like a membership card. It's for the calendar year. And we were able to kind of like go back and included a drink the first time and just kind of sit, listen to the jazz, whatever kind of performances were happening. And so we went there, we spent like an hour, maybe an hour and a half there, had a good time, listened to jazz. At a certain point, they started playing like some more upbeat music. It was a great time. And then we decided to head over to the next spot. And so the next spot ended up being this place called Babylon. And a couple of the people from the group decided to drop out when we went there. This was like an actual like nightclub. Like being from Atlanta, we are used to seeing like the bottle girls, the hookah, all of that stuff like pretty much anywhere. But I think we were genuinely shocked to be in Italy and see like bottle girls in the club. Like we were just like, I wasn't expecting this from, I don't know why we weren't expecting it, but it wasn't. It caught us off guard for a little bit and then we quickly bounced back. It got to the point where like time was literally getting away from us. We didn't even realize that we had just been out for so long. Like it was probably like 2:45 in the morning, right? And we were like, okay, let's head back. We want to make sure, because we had to walk like 20 minutes to get back to our hotel. And as we're walking back to the hotel, we saw pizza. And so we went and we got pizza and we had like a nice time. We got back to the hotel maybe at like 3:10, 3:15. As I mentioned, our Uber left at like 3:30. In hindsight, I should have packed my bag before I went out. So yeah, next time, if there is a next time that I do something like that again, I don't know. We'll see if I have the energy to do it. But I will definitely be packing up my belongings before I actually leave. So but it adds to the story. It does. Like, it was like, wow, I did this and I didn't forget anything. Like, I brought everything back with me and I was under crunch time. They were just less than normal circumstances, but I did it and I'm proud of myself. Does it mean I would do it again? Absolutely not. But I did it once. And it's, okay? Like, look at me. All right, friends. So that brings us to the airport where I'm heading from Florence to Amsterdam. It is the end of my Italy trip. I want to thank you guys so much for spending this time with me and seeing my adventures in Italy from Rome, parts 1 and 2, to Florence, this entire video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm excited to really just be more intentional about my vlogging in the future. Like, I feel like these videos, I was like halfway in, halfway out with deciding that I wanted to vlog and also actually learning what it means to vlog. So I got a lot of pictures of other things, but like even these voiceovers, or not really voiceovers, but just kind of me talking about what happened, I want to do better in the future about actually recording those in the moment. So like I know how I felt. You just kind of see it there versus like me like a couple months later trying to remember what exactly happened, what I was thinking, what was going through my mind. So I appreciate you being with me at the beginning of this vlogging journey. I hope that you stay around. I hope you enjoyed these. So with that, that is all for today's episode. I cannot wait to see you again really, really soon. I can't tell you where I'm going just yet. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all of that great stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.